Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you for your time. And this is in the series of webinars, this is our third webinar in this series. Our endeavors are to share our thoughts, our experiences with the construction fraternity and to see for a better future of all of us. Thanks once again. We would shortly be starting. We have a very good and encouraging response from the people all across India. And I would now share my screen with you all so that we can start with the webinar. Myself, Kundan Dighe from Wienerberger, Head Product Development, India, Wienerberger, India, and hope the webinar as well as the topics would enchant you, as well as we will add knowledge to each other as far as our knowledge base is concerned. I am sharing my screen with you all now. The topic of today's webinar is the role of building materials in harmonizing ecology, emotions, and economy of the home. Let's begin. The past few months, we have seen the world go through turmoil in unprecedented proportions. The human race collectively is facing a novel challenge, the stage for the ultimate anarchy that is touching every aspect of our lives. The key to finding balance amidst chaos is following the basic principles of sustainability. Today, lockdown have given us a new meaning to the word essential. Let's look at what's essential is sustainable. What is sustainable is essential. At Wienerberger, we have always believed that the future of buildings globally is rooted in the principles of sustainability. Our annual sustainability report year on year have elucidated our passion toward this very cause. If we look at the titles of our reports right from 2012, 2013, they are so very meaningful. In one word, we don't wait for the future. We won't live to see our greatest achievements. We take the long-term view. Smart solutions. We have been enduring towards being sustainable as far as possible in all our aspects of our operations. Today, our belief is stronger than ever before. What is sustainability? What is sustainable definition? What would be the definition of sustainability? The internet is a reservoir of such definitions, especially on sustainability as a topic. But officially, the first articulation of this term was made in 1987 in Brundtland report. The definition goes, sustainable development is the idea that human societies must live and meet their needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Very, very meaningful statement. Extremely meaningful, but makes a lot of long-term sense. Let's live today. Let's enjoy our lives today without compromising on future generations and their ability to enjoy as well. Why now? Yesterday we thought we knew how tomorrow would be. Today we have no idea how our tomorrow would be anymore. In times of extreme uncertainty, we must protect in every capacity our world for our future generations. Sustainable development is a holistic concept with three key aspects of it: the society, the environment, the economy. Three major aspects. Yes, it can also be termed as ecology, emotions, economy. Ecology, emotions, and economy. The concurrence of these three important parts of our life. One is environment, which is ecology. Emotions is society, well-being. economy is economy and turns into being sustainable. That's exactly we would look at in this. Let's have a poll question. 3 major aspects for sustainability. Mobile silent करो. Mobile silent करो. Mobile silent करो.
You can start.
How can the principles of sustainability impact the building industry today and in turn bring a positive change in our lives? Let's have a look at it. Today, our industry, when I say it's construction industry, it's affected with labor, it's impacted with finance, it's impacted with demand. How do we try to meet these ends together? Why construction industry is always in a double whammy? The reason is construction as usage of raw materials used in construction, which is steel and cement, are the 2 largest greenhouse gas producing industries. The low energy efficiency of buildings which is designed needs to change into high energy efficiency of building structure designs. If we see the Indian scenario as far as emissions of carbon dioxide is concerned, the sectors which have been listed into the table here are the major sectors which contribute 80% of India's total emissions. Electricity, cement, iron and steel, transport, residential and commercial. The year 2000 emissions, if we see, and if we compare it against year 2020 emissions, the increase in last 20 years for the major sectors especially has been more than 500%. The sectors are cement, steel and transport, which have grown more than or close to 500% as far as carbon emissions are concerned. Can we imagine what happens to this in next couple of decades? It would be a double whammy as well. We need to take right steps and right actions and be conscious about our use now itself. As mentioned, construction industry happens to be for development. Steel and cement, 2 largest greenhouse gas producers. Up to 65% of our country's electricity consumption comes from buildings, residential buildings. Up to 50% contributes to our carbon emissions. India being why the residential industry is continuously under huge energy consumption or energy demand starving industry or sector. It's because India lies as such a geography of India can be divided into 5 climatic zones. 4 of these climatic zones are dominated by cooling requirements. That means they need air conditioners to cool their houses, to make life comfortable within indoors of the house or office. And that's exactly why residential demand is growing. How much is it growing for? Let's have a closer look at it. The year 2017, the residential energy consumption demand was 24% out of the total consumption of energy. In 2030, it grows double digit. It comes to 38% of the requirement. From 255 terawatt hour energy which was consumed as electricity in 2017, it requires close to 850 terawatt of hour energy by the year 2030. That's huge growth as far as residential demand is concerned, and largely This increased penetration is because of air conditioning in residential and commercial buildings, which would influence the demand of energy as far as buildings are concerned. Let's have second poll question there. What is essential for the industry to be sustainable? Let's have a look on individual sectors which can be looked upon. Long-term sustainable approach, saving costs, saving resources, water, sand, and cement. These all lie under natural resource requirements. Optimizing productivity, adapting the needs of the end users, the most important demand these days, because the demands are changing, the requirements are changing. So what decides the greenness of a building material? Energy efficiency. When we talk energy efficiency, it's the U value, the thermal insulation, saving of heating and cooling costs will decide the greenness of the building material we have used. Material, whether it's toxic, whether it's man-made or natural. Let's look at the toxicity potential of the material which we use in our construction. That's very important to make the material green. Locally sourced, carbon footprints which are generated while we select the material. It's important that we have local sourcing as much as possible. Recyclability of the material, a very important aspect on the choice of material. Is recycled possible? Is recycling possible during use and after use of the material which we select? Manufacturing, the process of manufacturing, the polluting potential, the potential of pollution that an industry or manufacturing process generates or creates, and most importantly, how labor intensive is our process. Let's categorize the essentials, the needs, into economy, emotions, and ecology. And let's see how can we influence by right choice of material, right selection of material. What is economy for construction? Affordability is always the cost of the finished product. In this case, it is building or a house. For building, affordability comes from saving in cost of construction, but without compromising on quality, efficiency in productivity, reducing wastages as much as possible. Does weight matter? Yes, weight matters a lot. It matters a lot. How? Let's compare commonly used clay walling materials. How does the weight factor runs as far as individual walling materials for comparison? The densities. Density is translation of weight. Let's look at density. Conventional clay bricks around 1800 kg per cubic meter. Concrete blocks 2200 kgs per cubic meter. Engineered clay hollow blocks just 700 kg per meter cube. How does it influence? What are the influencing aspects if we use a lightweight walling material? Huge amount of structural saving potentials, enhanced stability of the structure, speed of construction, high output with less manpower. low wastage. For an independent study which was conducted on a basement ground plus 12 story or floor building with an built up area of 1,51,000 square feet, the walling material which we considered is a high density walling material, that is solid concrete blocks with 2200 kg per meter cube, and a engineered clay hollow blocks with around 700 kg per meter cube. Let's see how the 65% lighter weight of material used can influence into the savings which it can bring to the table. Down with heavy weight, enjoying and lifting heavy weight. The savings only in footings of the building. The building is the basement ground plus 12 which was conducted for the study, which was used for the study. Only in concrete we could save close to 400 cubic meter of concrete because the footing sizes could be optimized using lightweight walling material. In columns, the reinforced steel which we could save, which is 55 metric tons close to on all the columns in the building, as well as savings comes from the beams as well, around 24-25 metric ton of savings from reinforcement steel which goes into the beams. As a summary, the deltas are huge, the differences are huge. What does it translate in terms of savings? It translates in terms of savings. In concrete we could save close to 400 cubic meter of concrete. We could save close to 100 tons of steel which we used. Today the prices of steel and cement or concrete are varying, are fluctuating, and the total amount of structural savings which we could achieve is very encouraging. It's close to 53 rupees per square feet of the built up area. So let's see the summary of the study. The dead load what we reduced onto the building by use of engineered clay hollow bricks is close to 4,500 tons of load. The dead load could be reduced. The design was as per IS standards without compromising on the design safety features of the building. There is a saving potential of close to 16% on total structural cost. Total cost saving which can come onto the table or into the pockets would be around close to 8 million rupees which could be saved, which is huge and considerable. Higher productivity ensures optimal use of manpower on site. It's not a matter of lean period which we are experiencing currently as far as manpower availability is concerned. In India, we celebrate a lot of festivals, which is good, but as manpower, they also wish to go to their natives and celebrate. So it has become a perennial issue in terms of supply of manpower. Can we think, instead of cribbing of less manpower, can we change our view towards bringing in more of productivity at the same task without compromising on the task? Can we increase the productivity of construction itself? Yes, there is a possibility for certain. Innovating continuously, combining precision, sustainability as a construction process. Porotham dry fix system. It's a gluing system by which we can achieve a system that guarantees super fast construction. 5 times faster the construction could be. That means saving in the manpower would also translate into close to 5 times. Saves time and labor. Zero shrinkage cracks. Zero requirement of water. Water is a natural resource. We are already facing huge dearth as far as natural water is concerned. No curing required at all for the walls which we construct, for the masonry walls. Zero requirement of mortar, no sand, no cement. It's such a benefit which we can get. Zero wastage at the site, clean and dry site. This is the actual study which was conducted on a construction site. G+18 floor tower, built up area 5 lakh square feet, walling area 4.5 lakh square feet, Brick used close to 5.5 lakhs units of bricks which were used. We could complete the walling of this building, particular tower G plus 18 within 6 months. What was the manpower used? Just 40-45 masons. I mean, the manpower, masons were 20, helpers were around 25, which we used. The productivity could be escalated to a level of 13 to 14 square meter per day per mason. Operational wastage at the site during construction as low as 2.36% only. The best part of the whole study, which personally I like, is water use reduced by 95%. We use just 15 liters of water per square meter of wall area versus 300 liters in conventional walling system, conventional masonry system. We use close to 300 liters of water in the whole process. Here we could use only 15, or we required only 15 liters of water because of no curing present. Weight influences? Yes, weight influences. How? High savings on structural cost enhances productivity, and use of innovative systems can further enhance in terms of time, resource efficiency. Maintenance of the building, maintenance, refurbishment is awfully undesirable happening. It leads to expense, it leads to stress, it leads to inconvenience. To avoid, one has to choose quality and consistent material right at the first go. Undesired outcome: seepages, shrinkage cracks, and that too in the early stage or life of the building. Absolutely undesired. Let's look water as the main culprit. Water, yes, water is required for everything, but undesired quantity of water at undesired locations becomes the main culprit as far as building is concerned. Major problems that we face today, may it be seepage, may it be leakage, may it be shrinkage cracks, come as a major content because of water. Let's look at water absorbed by different walling materials used commonly into the construction industry. The clay bricks, the concrete blocks, the AAC, Aerocon aerated blocks, hollow concrete blocks, and clay hollow engineered bricks. Water absorbed, very different in the sense very varying. A conventional clay brick would absorb close to 2.5 liters of water when tested as per standard testing processes. Solid concrete block, 2.8 liters. Aerocon aerated concrete block would be 5.5 liters, 5.25 liters of water. It becomes a water holder as far as wall is concerned within one block, one unit of block. Engineered clay hollow bricks, just 1.6 liters of water. It costs a large, it affects largely because as much as water within the body of the block, the drying also would take that very long time to dry. Shrinkage cracks and high water content. Shrinkage cracks is one additional culprit in deteriorating the well-being of the house. Today's new age materials possesses new challenges, especially on crack formations. Aerated cement has an inherent characteristics of very high water absorption, due to which shrinkage cracks occurs invariably. This leads to early maintenance on a freshly constructed wall and very undesirable episode to happen with anybody for that matter. Low on maintenance, engineered clay hollow blocks, resource efficient, known for their quality and consistency. Zero shrinkage cracks. Every brick is marked with an batch number or an identification number. How does today's world impact on the end users? We are adopting to the new work culture, that is work from home, learn from home, study from home. The meeting the needs of occupants today, Comfort at home, most important. Saving cost on electricity bills, very, very necessary. Comfortable temperatures for long work hours from home. Yes, the prime important requirement today. Let's categorize as far and look at the emotions which are concerned and how can we bring natural as well as healthy living experiences by utilizing right material. Clay. Clay is natural. Yes. Clay is healthy. Yes. Safe. Yes, as well. Clay is the most adaptable, naturally occurring material. It's breathable. It regulates temperature and humidity. Shows excellent drying behavior. No toxic emissions at all. Healthy indoor air quality. What makes clay bricks sustainable? Why clay bricks would be called as sustainable or resource efficient bricks? Let's have a quick look at it. Drastically reduces resources. The void ratio, the voids, the hollows which are present in the brick would reduce the resources that we use at every stage, right from production to utilization of the brick at the sites. Natural thermal insulation. Of course, the lower U values, which dominates because of the geometry of the clay product, but they also provide active and latent cooling. The air voids. Air is the best thermal insulating material. It provides lot of thermal comfort, lot of insulation from thermal ingress when we talk of heat ingress into the houses, and naturally thermal insulation can be brought in the house. Bricks can be recycled. Longevity of the material is well proven, very high. Reuse possibility as well, very high. Following eco-friendly and scientific production processes, the brick is manufactured in a very resource efficient manner. Reduce operational cost of the complete whole building if clay bricks are being used. How hollow blocks are resource efficient? Yes, clay hollow blocks maximizes output while minimizes the demand on resources. They hold huge saving potentials. Some of them we have already seen in our earlier slides that it has huge potential as far as savings are concerned. Brick walls can contribute to the improved indoor air quality by eliminating VVOCs, and thereby indoor environment can be free of any kind of emissions and allergens. While we talk of lot of things, let's measure it on actual reality. What happens? We measured an apartment for the difference in temperatures, the outdoor temperature and the indoor temperature. The temperatures were measured in the peak summer season, which runs normally from March to May, and the measurements were taken continuously for long period of time. In a clay brick house or apartment, we could see a difference between outside and inside close to 7 to 9 degrees Celsius. 7 to 9 degrees Celsius, the inside was cooler without cooling, without artificial cooling as compared to outside temperature. We also did that in a concrete block residence or dwelling. We measured the temperature. Yes, there was some difference between outside and inside. It was just 3 to 4 degrees Celsius. But a very peculiar observation what we could come across, what we did is that as the outside gets heated because of the sun, let's say 11 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock is the peak heat which we feel in the afternoon, the temperatures indoors also rise. In case of clay walling, it rises, but to certain extent, not beyond 27-28 degrees Celsius. And as soon as the outside becomes ambient, becomes more comfortable, around 4 p.m., 4 in the evening onwards, the inside of the house built with clay hollow bricks also starts cooling very, very fast. it starts dropping its heat which was accumulated during the day very fast. Whereas in concrete, it keeps getting hotter and hotter. It reaches to the maximum of 33-34 degrees Celsius. But as the outside starts becoming cooler, the temperature still remains hotter inside. The outside can be around 28 degrees Celsius, but inside, if we see, it still remains or hovers between 30 to 31 degrees Celsius. We have a poll question for you. So let's look at the ecological effect. How can it be environment friendly and longevity? Longevity is also a very important aspect to consider while choosing the materials we use. Wienerberger Porotham smart bricks are eco-friendly. Let's look at from product point of view, sustainability aspect for the product point of view. They are innovative, they are durable. Recycling possibility is very high during use and even after use. Easy to install, contributes largely to the energy efficiency of the building. Whether it's sustainable from production point of view, yes. Energy efficiency in climate protection, hardly sparing use of water, protection of local residents and natural conservation at clay pits, resource efficient and waste management, availability of raw materials and use of recycled material. Most importantly, avoidance of any hazardous substance. Whatever is used as far as clay manufacturing, clay brick is concerned, is 100% natural, it's 100% organic. The inception of Porotham clay excavation. Where does the clay come from? Where do we take clay from? Locally, yes. All clay is sourced within a distance of 4 to 12 kilometers. It's sourced by desilting clay tanks, non-agricultural land. It regenerates the water tanks. It gives new life to the lakes, whereas we take the clay to manufacture bricks. Naturally available organic waste used as embodied body fuel. No toxic chemicals, not a single gram of cement, no pigments, no color pigments or binding agents being used in these bricks. It's green building rated, it's Griha rated as well. Dead lake bed. This is the lake bed which is dead. There is no water into the lake. By efforts for last 10 years, more than 10 years, we were able to close to have a lake so beautiful. I can call it a live lake. I in fact wanted to give a title on the top, but the photo is so very beautiful. I constrained myself from putting a title on the top. It's a live lake. From a dead lake, we converted a lake to a live lake. Wienerberger India factory, which is located at Kunigal, hardly 660 kilometers from Bangalore. Manufacturing, state-of-the-art technology using robotics, energy efficient manufacturing process, Stringent pollution control practices. Quality and originality assured. Every brick we manufacture is marked with a batch number, the date it is being manufactured. It is marked with name and the logo of the company. Porotham is a registered trademark of Wienerberger, Wienerberger India. Individual residences which can be built, which can be safely as well as comfortably built and lived within. Individual villas, buildings, high-rise towers. Predominantly to say the clay hollow bricks which are sustainable, which are engineered clay bricks, named as Porotham clay bricks by Wienerberger, can be used for all types of constructions. Place of worship, completely built with clay hollow bricks. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic is challenging the status quo, accelerating our transition to a low carbon economy. The importance of building layout, plan, and physical structure will be of even greater significance to the health and well-being of its occupant, much more than ever before. What was traditionally accepted and normalized as a norm is no longer relevant. We need to go back to our drawing boards, rethink, re-emphasize on fresh requirements, fresh demands which are coming up in terms of design aspects of the building as well as in terms of choice of the material we choose for the building. Our vision needs to be long term and sustainable, considering the ever changing post COVID era. Every decision we make should positively impact all stakeholders, the builders, the developers, the occupants, the users at the same time. Thank you very much for your time, for your contribution, for your efforts. Now we can open up the session for question and answers. Also to mention that we would be releasing a PDF of certain points, important point takeaways from this presentation, which would reach you shortly. I'm just trying to read the questions, the initial comments. A very good question asked. Are these bricks pre-cured while manufacturing? They are fired at close to 900 degrees Celsius. And as far as curing, the water curing, they don't contain any cement based product or cementatious product. Hence, they don't require any kind of curing. It's like fresh bricks from the kiln, baked bricks can be immediately put in use in the building. Water seepage or water absorption is extremely low in these bricks. One is because they are fired at high temperatures. Secondly, the density, the compaction of the building of the bricks is very, very good and high. Somebody has requested for comparison between conventional mortar and alternate bonding material, that is dry fix system. We would be glad to do that. As far as to answer you here immediately is, it is very much comparable. As I mentioned, the cost is the end result, what is the cost of the end product that is required, and it is very, very comparable. In fact, it is more affordable in terms of using alternate bonding material, which is dry fix system. Yes, somebody has asked for the presentation here, and we would certainly share. uh, the outcome, the salient features of this presentation and the study report which was conducted in a while with you all. Thank you, Parvesh Sheikh, for very useful information. Thank you. Your comments are appreciated. Is hollow bricks? Yes. Somebody has asked, is hollow bricks, can they bear the loads? Can they take the crushing loads and can they be used for major walls? Yes, the bricks can be used for all kind of constructions. I tried to show some of them in the presentation. It can be used for all kind of constructions, high rises, schools, hospitals, everything. All walls can be built with this. Lot of them have answered right. A good question. It's more on construction aspect or construction point of view. How about sizing or cutting of the bricks? Lintel and beam bottom column side cutting. It's very easy, and we can cut the bricks with zero wastage. We can achieve to the smaller pieces of the requirement at the sites. We understand that. We also manufacture half bricks and we supply as manufactured, I mean, factory manufactured product, but nevertheless the bricks also can be cut with zero wastage at the site. Somebody wants rate analysis, we will certainly share the rate analysis, rate comparison with you. Internal plaster as well as external plaster is very much possible on these bricks. At times people prefer to keep external exposed because it looks nice, it looks aesthetic, it looks contemporary. As far as plaster is concerned, yes, sand cement mortar plaster or gypsum plaster or POP plaster, everything can be applied onto the surface of the bricks. The crushing strength, it's extremely high. We have load bearing bricks which can give you the crushing strength which is unmatchable with any other walling material compared. Even with concrete blocks, they can give you a crushing strength of close to 12 to 14 Newton per mm square, which is around 120 to 140 kg per centimeter square. What is the fixing method of mortar use? The mortar is the conventional mortar which you need to use for walling. That is sand and cement in proportion of around close to 1:6 or 1:4 depending on the use and size of the bricks. Nevertheless, you also have super glues which we can offer you. It can be plastered with mortar. These bricks can be laid in the traditional brick masonry patterns as well. It would be a stretcher bond which you will use with these bricks because they are big in size. So you can use a stretcher bond single brick and you can achieve different walling thicknesses like 200 mm thick wall, 150 mm thick wall and 100 mm thick wall. Can we use fines? Can we use fines generated from dust collector or foundry? No, fines will be extremely fine, but yes, if you can elaborate the question a little more to us in particular, we can answer you in a better format. The difference between dry fix and conventional cement mortar, I tried to explain you in brief. Uh, in conventional cement mortar, you require to procure sand, cement, mix it, put water to make it a plastic mortar, usable mortar, and then paste it, then cure it. In this case, it's just a glue which you apply like a glue onto the brick surface. The bricks are super precise bricks. They are grinded at our factory itself, giving you a tolerance of plus minus 1 mm on the height to achieve perfect horizontal uniformly distributed loads. And then it can be pasted and built in one day. You don't require any waiting time. Within 24 hours, the walls are ready. You don't require any curing in particular. The material testing which we conduct for quality check of Porotham, every day is our batch. Every day is our batch. Like today, 21st of May 2020 will be a batch of bricks which we manufacture. The bricks are tested for all physical properties as mentioned in the Indian standards. Nevertheless, it's more important that we test on all the raw materials on the bricks as well. In terms of costing, somebody has asked the question in terms of costing. In terms of costing, the bricks are absolutely comparable with other walling materials. And if I compare with the long-term benefits, it's very affordable as well. How far you maintain the quality? I am reading the question as it is because it's how far you maintain the quality of the products. The quality of the products is assured and maintained as far as quality is concerned, and that's exactly the reason why Wienerberger feels that we should be more transparent with the customers, and every brick of our is being marked with the batch number. Every brick we manufacture, every brick you use of Wienerberger will be marked with the batch number, and that becomes your quality assurance kind of. And plus we can further share details with you in terms of particular quality of that particular batch. Electrical conduiting and plumbing conduiting is very easy in this, very precise and easy into this. Thank you, Dinesh ji, well explained. Thank you, sir. The most suitable material for heavy rainfall area. The most suitable material for heavy rainfall area will be the walling material, which will have in the heavy rainfall, it would be the material with lowest possible water absorption, which will be properly manufactured and fired clay bricks. Also, clay bricks show a very good drying behavior. So even if they absorb water, they would dry very fast. And of course, in a heavy rainfall area, the design factor of the building, the design of the building is also very important. How much cost effective these bricks are, clay hollow bricks, as compared to conventional red bricks? They are super cost effective because one red brick, conventional red brick, is small in size, and in one Porotham clay hollow brick of 8 inches 200 mm width, one can fit in 9 conventional bricks. So 9 bricks would require efforts, mortar, extra mortar, additional sand cement, additional labor. If you put all these things together, it will be super affordable if you use a large format brick, which is clay hollow brick, engineered clay hollow brick. On a G+2 building, will the weight load be really low enough for structural engineer to reduce the structural design too? On a G+2 building, yes, you can optimize on the structural design of the building. If it's a G+1 building, you can also use load bearing bricks, which Porotham has, Porotham vertically perforated bricks, and they can be used as far as G+1 buildings are concerned for load bearing type of constructions. Cladding bricks, we don't have cladding bricks with us, but Porotham itself can be used as cladding. But yes, in particular, if you require cladding, you may have to look out for different options. The size of the brick is large format size, 400 mm length, 200 mm width, 200 mm height, and widths can be available in 3 different sizes: 200, 150 and 100. That is 8 inches size brick, 6 inches size brick, and 4 inches size brick. Is this material effective for Kerala Thrissur climate for high rise mixed use structure? Yes, the bricks can be used for high rise apartment as well in Kerala, and we do supply in Kerala markets. There are a lot of questions, so what we can do is we can answer you one-on-one basis, because we have the database, and we would come back and we would answer each of your questions as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Thank you once again. And you can note our contact details as well. And you can contact us once it's in case of any particular requirement. Thank you so much.